The untouchable True School Sports Empire proudly presents something the boxing game's been missing. Hey, what's going on? It's your boy BT, and I came here to talk some boxing with the thousands of True School Sports subscribers. Now, to my left, we have a man that really needs no introduction, for he is known the world over. It's the one, it's the only, it is Pops.
Welcome to True School Sports. We're to the big news today. Take over. Go ahead, BT. Take over.
So, look, man. Last week was probably one of the worst weeks I've ever experienced in boxing since I've been on YouTube. You know, Shawn, what's we call it? Evander Holyfield got knocked out. You had the whole thing with Valdez and the phenamine case and then the bad decision. But now we finally get a breath of fresh air. God dang it! It's about damn time. In my LeBron James voice, it's about damn time. Freaking. Terence Crawford, Shawn Porter, and I know a lot of people. Shout out to my man Hyro. We see you, Hyro. He says, "Damn, I was waiting for that purse bid live." Yeah, there is no purse bid. I was actually looking forward to it myself, but there is no purse bid as they announced roughly an hour or so before the purse bid officially that you can say the date. It's signed, sealed, and delivered.
Yeah,
November 20th in Las Vegas, Nevada, at the Michelob Ultra Arena. You know, the Mandalay Bay. Terence Crawford finally gets his signature fight in the welterweight division against, former welterweight champion, one of boxing's true warriors, Showtime Shawn Porter. So yes, finally, we waited forever. He's 33, going on. I think he's like 34 years old now. So Terence Crawford's no spring chicken, but better late than never. Terence Crawford finally gets to prove himself in the welterweight division. So I'm gonna swing it over to Pop. I'm gonna ask Pops one. First of all, what's your reaction to this news, and what do you think about the matchup overall?
I think it's great news. We've been waiting for this matchup for a minute. We've been going back and forth several months. We got the fans excited to see this fight, and then for one reason or another, whether it was Shawn Porter who didn't have enough money or didn't have enough money to make the fight, excuses or whatever, and then to see Crawford and back finally getting in, I think it's great for him to actually fight a legitimate player in the elites of 147. So I'm happy for that. I'm happy that the Godfather of all people actually got this negotiated.
They put on the fight.
Yeah,
top ranked pay-per-view.
He's very cheap when it comes to putting up the purse bid. So I'm glad they didn't go to purse bid. I'm glad that both fighters came to an agreement and great for the fans. It's something good. And overall, I think the matchup is going to be good. Shawn Porter's movement, Shawn Porter's action. That's one guy that comes to the press, comes forward and everything.
He's right reality.
Yeah. He's always constantly moving. He never seems to be tired out. I think it'll be a true test to Crawford, but at the same time, I think Crawford will be in there with him. He's gonna box him out. If he wants to fight, But like I say with Crawford all the time, when he gets going, he's gonna get going. I mean, the quickness that Shawn Porter's got is big. The movement's big. But let me tell you, I'm going with what I've always liked. Only one time I bet it against him and I lost. Nebraska's son. Nebraska's one and only. I'm going with Crawford.
Oh, yeah, absolutely, man. Now, look, I feel like context is an important thing. And by the way, if you're tuning in, make sure you smash that like button. If you're watching the playback, make sure you smash that like button. We appreciate everything. But I think what's interesting, about Terence Crawford, right? A lot over the years, these last couple of years, especially with the Spence talk, a lot's been made of like him not fighting a big name, him not getting the fights at welterweight. But let's be real. He didn't turn pro as a welterweight. He turned pro he first was a lightweight champion, then he was a 140-pound champion, then he was a 147-pound champion. Terence Bud Crawford, right? Terence Bud Crawford has only been a welterweight for 3 years, okay? And there's a lot of guys that have spent their whole entire welterweight career, basically trying to get big fights. And it's taken them 7 years, 8 years, 9 years, because that's the weight class they turn pro in. Jerron Ennis, God bless his soul, he's fought 27, 28 times, okay? And sometimes right now, it's no fault of his own, but I'm just saying, it's actually taking Terence Crawford a shorter period of time as a welterweight to get a big fight than some of the guys that you guys hype up. So make sure you give this man his flowers, because all I've heard from people who have wanted to show on Crawford for the last year and some change has been, oh, Terence doesn't want to fight a big name. Oh, Terence, he's lazy. Oh, Terence, he's fighting DoorDash drivers. He's fighting Uber drivers. But I don't want to hear. I don't want to hear nothing. I don't want to hear nothing, because when Errol Spence beat Shawn Porter, he was best thing since sliced bread.
Yeah.
When Danny Garcia fought Shawn Porter, he was the best thing since sliced bread. When Keith Thurman barely escaped with a decision, he was the best thing since sliced. So I don't want to hear it. Y'all better give Terence his damn credit. I don't want to hear nothing about resumes. I don't want to hear nothing about anything because he's accomplished just about everything you want to accomplish in boxing. He went ahead and did it. So don't talk about. I don't want to hear no more shit about Terence Crawford.
And let's get it straight. Crawford's not been active for a while, so when he comes in, he's gonna come in like a live dog and a hungry dog. He's gonna make sure he take care of business and make a big statement. So Shawn Porter, don't sleep on him.
Absolutely, man. Shout out to my man Frank Turquoise, and he's saying what I said. It took Errol Spence almost 7 years at 147 to get a Shawn Porter fight. So Terence Crawford is fighting these. It's crazy how quickly things can change in life. Well, a couple months ago, we're talking about, Terence can't get no fights. He's never going to get a big fight. Now we're talking about, man, Terence Crawford is fighting these top guys welterweight quicker than these other guys. Man, these other guys is lazy. They're not doing what Terence Crawford is doing. They're not doing what Terence Crawford is doing. Yeah. All right? Now, look, all of a sudden, right, if you beat Shawn Porter, right, all of a sudden his welterweight resume starts to look very good because he beat Jeff. I know he beat Jeff Horn coming off of the Manny Pacquiao win. First win at welterweight. Stopped Jose Benavidez. He knocked out Kell Brook quicker than everybody. And now he's going to, because now people who don't know shit about boxing are going to say, if he goes ahead and does what he thinks he's going to do and beats Shawn Porter, which is not a gimme. I'm not sitting here overlooking Porter or not saying that Porter can't win.
It'll be a free ride.
It's not a free ride. Shawn Porter is a good fighter. But I'm saying if Crawford goes ahead and beats Shawn Porter, for people who don't know shit about boxing, they're going to say, now Terence is proving himself. No, stupid. He's been proving himself. He's proving himself to you because you don't know shit about boxing. But he's been proving himself. Two-time lineal champion, undisputed at 140. Shit. I don't want to hear it. I really and truthfully do not want to hear it. I don't want to hear it.
Yeah, I'm just glad the fight got finally made, and I'm glad to see Crawford back in the ring with somebody elite and somebody as good as Shawn Porter.
Yeah, man. And then my man Slugfest says Porter is gonna beat the shit out of Bud Crawford. We gonna see, champ. We gonna see. Shit. Hey, I'm gonna tell y'all in advance. Let us know why in the comments. Yeah. Listen, I'm gonna tell y'all this straight like this, because see, it's been such a negative week in boxing the past week that it's finally. I'm gonna
invigorate you. That give you life.
I'm gonna quote my ex-girlfriend. Yeah. It feels good to feel good. Yeah, it feels good to feel good again. So seeing
Crawford and
seeing Crawford and Spence is just really a breath of fresh air for boxing. It truthfully is. Look, I'm gonna say it like this. I'm gonna say it straight like this. I wasn't planning on leaving South for the rest of the year. I really wasn't. But I'm gonna tell you this: if you're in the Las Vegas area, my ass will be in Vegas November. But listen, I was just talking to my boy Johnny last night, and I was telling him, "Hey man, I'm thinking about going to Las Vegas for just to be around Vegas for the planned Canelo fight. That's November the 6th. Crawford Porter is supposed to be November the 20th. So
wow,
we're talking about only a couple weeks apart. So listen, you got. I'm telling y'all straight away. I'm going to Vegas. You're gonna get the content. You're gonna get the interviews. We're gonna go interview the Canelo fans and ask them what they think about Caleb Plant beating Canelo in advance. We're gonna ask them about that. We're gonna go to this fight. Hopefully the tickets aren't too expensive, so I can go. Yeah. And listen, November is gonna be a momentous occasion here on True School Sports. I'm telling you straight like that. I'm telling you. Slugfest is talking about Porter. He said that Ohio blood is different because he's Ohio. He's from Ohio. Yeah. Well, Slugfest is the one. He's a Canelo fan. He's also the same one that's been talking about. He's been talking about Montana Love going to beat Josh Taylor.
Oh hell no!
Hell
no!
But he's supporting his Ohio fighter, so you can't knock him for that.
You respect your hometown, where you're from, in your state. I can't argue that.
Yeah. Ooh. It seems like Shawn Porter's getting some. Okay, so people are really buying into Shawn Porter. They said Eric News says it's gonna go into deep waters. My man Crawford's gonna drown. He's gonna lost at the end by a decision on all three judges.
Hell no.
He got Porter by a UD.
You're talking about,
he said and the new.
You're talking about Nebraska's there's a dog in him. If Porter even can fight with him, stay in the middle of the ring and fight him, I guarantee you he's gonna be knocked the fuck out. I'm taking Crawford. Crawford ain't no joke. You pull a dog out of him, he comes out.
freaking Frank Turquoise says we're gonna get Riddick Bowe versus Evander Holyfield on the undercard. Yeah, you know, so we can bring some new eyes to the sport. You know, all that bullshit. Wow. Hyro says that Porter doesn't got a chinny eye socket like Kell Brook.
Listen, man, I'm gonna tell you straight up. I'm telling you right now, and I've always said this about Crawford. You get the you get him to get the dog out of him. He's a fucking nasty motherfucker. He's a pitbull. And I'm telling Shawn, I'm taking that away from Shawn Porter. I like Shawn Porter, but I guarantee you, he's not in the fucking level as Crawford.
Ooh, we got pops. You got five.
I'm trying to tell you,
you got
he's
pops.
not in the level as Crawford.
You got pops.
Okay,
you got
what? Ugas, motherfuckers, elite. This motherfucker's elite of the motherfucking elite of 147. There's a motherfucking reason PBC fighters, L heavy fighters ain't looking out for him, and nobody wants to take names. I'm telling you right now, the young buck Ortiz wants part of him. Everybody wants to want a part of him, but guess what? This is the man, the big dog is right here. This is the motherfucking pit bull. Terence Crawford, 147, baby. You go up and get ready because he's coming for you, Shawn Porter.
You got listen, man. Y'all got pop sound like y'all got pop sound like pre heart attack pop. Y'all got pre heart attack. Listen. Here on True School Sports, when you finally get these fights we've been asking for so long.
Yeah,
you get pre heart attack pops.
We're really happy today because we've been down all week for a lot of stuff.
Down all week. Everton won yesterday.
God bless Everton. All you came on here, but hearing this news and they're finally coming to an agreement that people want to see the fight, and I like the response from everybody talking about Shawn Porter because it makes the fight even better.
Absolutely. And look, let's
thank you, the Barfather. The Barfather, a cheap motherfucker. If you want to get something.
Let's talk about the matchup right quick, man. So, you know, one thing I will say about Shawn Porter is that he definitely has a reputation as a guy that comes forward. And you know, I used to call his style. I used to classify his style as some. He plays rugby. He fights you like he's playing a rugby match. You know, he mauls you, and sometimes he smothers his own work. And Shawn Porter really makes it hard on his opponents. He pushes that pace, gets your heart to start pounding. So when you fight Shawn Porter, you gotta be conditioned. Your conditioning gotta be on the level to last with Shawn Porter in the ring. He's one of the most conditioned fighters in the world. And if that will be a test for Crawford in this fight. But what I'll say about Porter is he showed in different parts of his career that, you know, he has become a more technically sound boxer. He's not just a guy that mauls you now. You know, he showed it a little bit in that Ugas fight, even though I thought he lost. He was able to box with Ugas and pockets of that fight. You know, he showed us in the Errol Spence fight, he can box a little bit. So now we're looking at a fighter who, towards the latter stages of his career in Porter, who he's still bringing the things that made him a world champion in the first place. He's still bringing the great conditioning. He's still bringing the pressure. He's still bringing those things. But now he's matured in that second phase of his career as not just Shawn Porter the mauler, but Shawn Porter the boxer. Now, can he outbox Terence Crawford? I don't think so. I think Crawford, he's too long. He's too rangy. He's too smart. But what I can say about Porter is one thing he's good at is Shawn Porter is really good at when he's boxing from the outside, at changing his rhythm. He's not a guy that, you know, steps to you the same way, throws the jab the same way. He has a lot of herky-jerky movements that can offset your rhythm and get you to open up and get him to land those shots that he's looking for. So I don't even think I think there are some things that Crawford has to be weary of. And, you know, who's to say that Porter can't drown him in the latter 12 rounds? You know, Crawford hasn't been in the ring for a year, so maybe ring rust can play a role in this fight. For him, I know Porter hasn't fought for about a year himself either, so, you know, there will be questions for him. But I feel like his style, the way he fights, is more suited to pressure and high volume and things like that. So I think in this fight, when Porter does press Crawford, I think Crawford's counter-punching abilities and his conditioning are all going to be tested. And if he can answer both those questions and if he can win the battle in that fight in those two departments, I feel like he can win this fight. But either way, I know at some point in this fight, it's going to go from being a boxing match to a fight. Yeah. Because Porter is, you know, a lot of people are going to doubt Porter. Like always, he's going to come in as the underdog, like he did against Spence, like he did against Thurman. Right. And he's going to want to really put that stamp on his welterweight legacy. And Crawford, this is his welterweight legacy right now because he's waited so long for this moment. He's waited seemingly a lifetime. You know, to really understand the greatness of Terence Crawford, you got to understand where he came from. This wasn't a guy that was a blue chip amateur. This wasn't a guy that was winning all the tournaments. This wasn't a guy that was a U.S. Olympian. This wasn't a guy that, you know, Top Rank just rolled the red carpet out for. This is a guy that had to earn his way. This is a guy that burst onto the scene many years ago when he had to fight British Prescott on short notice and nobody knew who the hell he was. You know, fighting Miguel Cotto on the cards, fighting Andre Klimov. This guy is somebody that you could say truthfully got it from the mud. And for what he didn't have in talent, he made up for in hard work. And he eventually perfected his skills to where he became one of the best pound fighters in the world. So that's why I'm saying Terence Crawford is you know, that's to me that's what makes this fight so interesting for Terence Crawford. Not so much that he's been waiting for a big fight, but the journey to get to the big fight has been so long, so arduous. Yeah, I mean, yeah, arduous. I'm breaking out those vocabulary words today. I'm breaking out those SAT words today. Okay? It's been a long, grueling, arduous road for Terence Crawford, and you know, I think it's just his time.
Yeah, I mean that's not discrediting nothing that Shawn Porter's done, because Shawn Porter is a dedicated fighter in the ring. I mean, BT, you interviewed him several years back, and you see his work ethic, and you talk to him and everything. And that guy, I mean, he's gonna bring it. That energy he's got, he's gonna bring it. So I'm not discrediting anything from Shawn Porter. I think Shawn Porter, using the way his energy and continue going, he's gonna control the fight. I think he's gonna control the fight, control the pace of the fight, and take it to deep waters. But I just think that Crawford, the way he fights and everything, he'll let you dictate everything. But if you have a real fight, it's gonna be tough. But I just want to say, I don't want to take that discredit Porter, because Porter does bring a lot of energy, and that motherfucker never seems to get tired out.
Yeah,
I've never seen Porter tired.
No.
You know, so
none of that song I Mace only listen to the song me and you listen to on the Red Pontiac. Welcome back.
Welcome back.
What did he say? He said, see, the names have all changed since I've been around, but the game ain't the same since I left out. That's how I feel about Carter right now. That's how I feel about Carter, because it's literally been a year since we've seen him in the ring. So and in that year, I feel like a lot of people, especially people who love Canelo, I feel like a lot of people have used his inactivity and him not getting the big fights against them, and a lot of people have forgotten about why we rate Terence Crawford so highly, why we talk about him. And I just feel like this is gonna be his coming out party. Yeah. And I'm looking forward to it. You know, I'm listen, a good fight, Top Rank. I'm glad Top Rank. I'm also glad. Hyro, I know you're out there. Yeah. I'm glad Top Rank's putting on the card, because Top Rank puts on most of the time the best undercards in boxing. So I'm hoping, you know, for the sake of boxing, you know, because it's not a co-promotion. It's Top Rank Boxing. If they can stack the undercard, that would be absolutely delightful. Yeah, I would love that, because I'm telling you right now. Listen. There's 27 of you here. Make sure y'all smash that like button. Listen, I'm gonna be in Vegas. I'll even give you guys the dates that I'll be there. All right, I might be there a little bit earlier, but you know, definitely at the latest, I'll be there from November 1st to at least November the 26th or 7th, just after Thanksgiving. Because you know, shout out to my boy Shawn to tell he invited me to come over for Thanksgiving. So I'm gonna go see Shawn for Thanksgiving. Some turkey, go eat some turkey, go kiss some babies, shake some hands, get you guys some great world class content. And it should be good. Let's get us some comments. Sure. My shout out to my guy. Interesting development. He says it's going to be like Crawford versus Felix Diaz. Oh my God, yes, that fight. That fight for Crawford was like a damn shooting gallery. And then you had Felix Diaz, who was coming off of a really good performance against Lamont Peterson, a fight that a lot of people thought he won. Right. And it's funny because the same people that said he hasn't fought nobody, I remember at that time, a lot of people were talking about how Felix Diaz was underrated. He got robbed against Lamont Peterson. And then when Terence Crawford, people said he's a nobody, but he's a gold medalist. That's crazy. So yeah, I feel like it could be that way because Diaz is a shorter fighter, stockier fighter, kind of like a Porter. Yeah. And he likes to come forward. And that was a fight where Terence Crawford was counter punching. It was just one of a boxing masterpiece, a clinic. And then, you know what, now that you brought up, I'm going to go back and watch that fight because it's been years since I watched that fight. Well, thank you for that. Appreciate it. If Crawford has his mama in the crowd, it's over. He always got his family there. He always got his family there. Shout out to my guy, he says Crawford is going to wash Porter. He's going to take years of rage against
But I tell you, that's what I told you. I said the same thing.
He's going to take years of rage against PVC propaganda out on him.
You're going to beat him down to a pulp, let him know.
Beat him like he stole something. Sleep Porter, then he's going to sleep Thurman, and then he's going to sleep Spence. Well, listen, I think if he sleeps Porter, ain't none of them guys. Spence is basically going to retire. I don't think he's in the boxing much longer. But once he sees what Crawford's going to do to Porter, you know, he's not going to want to get in there. Yeah. And Thurman, Man, he gonna sit there and commentate.
Yeah.
After Crawford
finish him up.
But listen.
I mean, that's
but listen. If Thurman does come back to boxing, I would love to see him fight Crawford. I think Crawford is a bad matchup for Shawn Porter, and so do I. Because basically, freaking Crawford, he's gonna do more of what like Errol Spence in the latter stages of that fight was able to counterpunch Porter, and he got a knockdown because of the precision. And those attributes that Spence showed in the latter part of their fight with Porter, I think Crawford can show those same attributes in round 1. It ain't gonna take Crawford, 7-8 rounds of methodically moving. No. He'll start doing that shit round 2, round 3, round 4. Because he's just on that level. You know what I'm saying? Porter's going to get caught with something, jumping in like he always does. Yeah. Listen, I remember when Shawn Porter boxed one of the best fights I've ever seen in his life against Adrian Broner. They fought at a 144-pound catch weight. And I remember, Adrian Broner, he stepped back and he said, "Show!" And put Porter squarely on his ass. So it's possible. Yeah. It's possible. Shout out to my guy, Kent. He says, big ups to BT and Pops.
Thank you, man.
We appreciate you, Kent. Shakur Marriott, yes, my man Shakur from the UK here. But a very insightful comment. He says, I don't think Crawford's going to need to make that much adjustments. Shawn is going to come forward and try to box like we saw against Spence, and Crawford is going to knock him the fuck out.
Shout out to the UK.
Fact.
I was at one yesterday, too.
Shout out, yeah. Brendan Smith says, I want to see Ugas versus Terence Crawford. And that'd be a great fight. If he win this fight, I don't see any reason why we can't get Ugas versus Terence Crawford. You know what I'm saying? If David says, I feel Shawn Porter is getting to this fight going into this fight with the losing mentality.
Wow.
Why do you say that?
Yeah. I mean, the whole time, one of the first times when the first fight came out, way back in the day, they asked Shawn Porter, and one of the big things that he didn't want to fight was because of money. Get the fuck out of here. You got enough money. I mean, legacy is more important than money. I mean, you're going to get paid either way.
Legacy don't pay bills.
He got enough to pay bills now. He got money. He's made his money.
We don't know what he has.
I feel.
We don't know what he has. He just had a kid. He got married now.
I feel that to me, that was an excuse not to fight Crawford. That's my point. Not like everybody said Crawford makes an excuse. Crawford's hiding all this. No. I feel that at that point, Shawn Porter didn't want no part of Crawford.
All right, so my man SSS asked a great question. He says, "Are you going live for any of the fights this week?" Now, I didn't think I was until I looked at the boxing schedule. Mm-hmm. There's actually a card on tonight.
I know.
On Triller. Right. It's Diego Zoralita or something like that. Yeah. He's fighting Pablo Cesar Cano. Uniesky Gonzalez on the undercard. Yeah. Michael Dutcho was on the undercard. I was before this happened, I was planning on going live tonight. So. As long as we can find a link to the stream, to a stream, I'll definitely go.
Try to go live.
I'll definitely go live for tonight's fight. I know the fight that Hiram wants me to go live for is Thursday. It's gonna be Sergey Bowenchuk versus some random guy on UFC Fight Pass. He wants me to go live so that when you guys come on and ask for a link, I can say I ain't got no damn link. You gotta get UFC Fight Pass. I might go live for that, and then we got there's PDC actually has 2 cards, one on Saturday, one on Sunday. So there's actually a lot. There's 4 cards on this weekend.
Jump on that.
So Monday, Thursday, Saturday, Sunday. I might just go live. What do you guys think? Should we go live? I'll let you guys, for all 23 here, I'll let y'all decide. Should I go live Monday, Thursday, Saturday, Sunday?
Jump on it.
For all these small cards. Y'all tell me yes or y'all tell me no in the comment section.
Is any decent fighters besides a few fighters? I mean, that's gonna actually motivate you. I know boxing motivates anyway, but sometimes these boxing cards, I don't want to sit there and I'm not gonna have a Cuban coffee, a whole big thing Cuban coffee.
We might.
Yeah, but anyways,
shit like that.
I love talking sports, boxing with my son, so whatever he wants to.
David says, never mind, Crawford's coming out party at 34. He making fun of Crawford because it's taking him so long. Hey, well, you know what?
Hold on. I understand Crawford's side, but at the end of the day, it comes down to the fucking promoters.
He's only been a welterweight. Listen, I gotta emphasize this. He's only been a welterweight for 3 years and some change. He's actually fighting the top names at welterweight before Spence, before all these guys. So now the narrative is shifting. The narrative is shifting.
Did you say they want to say that?
The narrative is.
Hey, before we go live, people say he's too old.
The narrative has shifted.
Oh my God!
How come Crawford's fighting these guys 3 years in, but freaking Spence? All these guys, it took forever to get to these guys.
A lot of times, it's not even the fight. Crawford be trying to get in with anybody. Anybody wants to get in when he wants to get in the ring with. But what happens is the fucking promoter fucking promoter. Oh, sometimes that's why I always say sometimes better to be a free agent to do your own fights because the promoters stall you and make you fucking old quick, and they put you behind the back burner, and you don't get to fight the fight you want. Don't blame Crawford. Blame the Godfather.
Hey, Ordinary P. He will not relent with this idea. with the he wants you to start a cooking channel. He said I'm gonna cook. He said for the Sunday Live Fight Reaction, you should have Pops make food.
I'll make some food, but I don't know. I'll make something. I don't know.
What you want to cook on Sunday?
I can make a pork chop with beans, rice and beans. I can make you.
You gotta make some Puerto Rican shit. You gotta make some.
I can cook some stuff.
Hey, so you know what? Hey, the fight that's on Sunday. I know Rayo Valenzuela is Saturday.
I want to see Rayo as well. I'm big on him.
That's Saturday.
I think he's gonna.
Hey, so you know what? We'll do that Sunday.
I'll figure out something
for the PBC card. We're gonna do the pops cooking on Sunday.
He's gonna cook
that's what we gonna do. Oh man, hold on. So look, man. Keen Mitch. You know, every time Keen comes here, I haven't seen him the last couple lives, but
what's going on, man?
Every time Keen comes here, he says, "BT, what up?" He said, "What up?" Shout out to the unofficial sponsors, Kool-Aid with no motherfucking sugar. Yeah.
Oh, you want to see that all the time?
For those of you who don't know,
tradition. Thank you, King.
For those of you who don't know, this is tradition. When King comes on
here,
this live has been brought to you in part by Kool-Aid with no motherfucking sugar. Jarrell Miller's gonna tell you all about that.
Vienna sausage, cinnamon buns, Wonder Bread, Kool-Aid with no motherfucking sugar.
That's right, Kool-Aid with no motherfucking sugar. And you know what's crazy? I had just started. I just saw Jarrell Miller recently, and I should have asked him about that. I should have asked him to talk to me more about how he drank Kool-Aid with no motherfucking sugar. So I feel like I blew an opportunity.
Check out his interview.
I blew an opportunity last week to ask him about that, but
check out the interview on Two School Sports.
But yeah, you know what? That's what we're gonna do. You'll get a live fight reaction tonight. You'll get a live fight reaction Thursday. You get a live fight reaction Saturday, and you'll get a live fight reaction Sunday. So yeah, man.
I'm about to pick up.
But Sunday, Sunday be the special one. We're gonna have the Pops cooking. Live fight reaction extravaganza. You know, PBC on Sunday, yes, that live fight reaction, but the Pops live fight reaction, the live fight cooking extravaganza. You know, we gotta get you one of them cooking hats, the chef hats.
Yeah.
We gotta get one of those. But yeah, man, going back to Crawford and Spence. I'll also say this for Terence Crawford. You know, like I feel like this is a good thing for his career. I really feel like if you know, knock on wood, if none of these guys get COVID or any of that BS, if he's actually able to get this fight and come out victorious, I really believe and truthfully believe that this is a turning point in his career. Because of the fact that, you know, as great as he is and how great I know who he is, he hasn't been able to prove it against the top guys. And I feel like if he beats Porter, then he can get those fights against like Keith Thurman or maybe a Spence or Ugas or Ennis or Virgil, and it really in a lot of people's eyes, in the people who don't know shit about boxing eyes, it's gonna legitimize him as a welterweight.
He's gotta be the A side. Come on, man. They can't tell me that because Ugas beat Manny Pacquiao.
No, he's it.
He's gotta be the A side no matter who goes in the ring with. That's my own opinion. I could be. That's what I say about him. But I mean, at the end of the day, it's great to see Shawn Porter fight him. Where he goes after that, I don't know. He wants to fight Thurman. You think he wants to fight Thurman?
Why not?
Thurman's old now, isn't he?
No, he's active.
Yeah.
Why not? Listen, I would love if Keith Thurman can just get active again and get a win or two under his belt. Why not make Thurman fight? That's one. Listen, that's one of the best fights to make in the welterweight division.
Thurman said a few months ago, he said just see somebody put the contract and I'll fight anybody, and nothing's happened. It seems like nobody wants to fight him, except for the young bucks that are coming out. Respect to Virgil Ortiz and call out all of them. I mean, and who else? I like to see Ennis getting in the fight with someone. I like to see Ennis with
Crawford.
I like to see that fight. Yeah,
that'd be an amazing fight. It's not gonna happen though.
It's not gonna happen. But politics again?
Yeah. No. Crawford's only looking for the big signature fights right now, and right now, as good as Ennis is, and as good as the hardcore boxing fans will recognize when it gets Ennis, that fight's not gonna generate the money. It's not gonna get him the kind of attention that he's craving. In his career. Shout out to my guy. I'm gonna get your comment, your quote, but shout out to my guy Wizard Sleeve. You know, Wizard Sleeve. He's a big fan of Josh Taylor. I'm part of the Josh Taylor fan club. He part of the Josh Taylor fan club. Hey, you know what? I'm glad. Perfect timing, Wizard. If Crawford wins this fight, that makes a Josh Taylor fight that much
Oh
bigger.
wow, that's
Because
right.
now Crawford's legitimized himself as a welterweight.
That's true.
Taylor's undisputed.
And Taylor preferred to fight Crawford than to fight Teofimo. He really
That's a fact. Yeah. That's a fact. You know,
he said
he's a fighter.
He wants to get to is with
He's a fighter that's truly all about that smoke. But Wizard Sleep says, I can't see Porter giving Bud any problems. Has Porter ever won a big fight? Well, that now do you consider Danny Garcia or Danny Garcia or Adrian Broner big fights? Because if you don't, then no, he hasn't won a big fight. But if you do, then yeah, he has won a big fight. And to be fair, when he fought Broner, a lot of idiots, particularly here in America, were picking Adrian Broner to beat Shawn Porter. A lot of people, that Danny Garcia fight was a damn near pick 'em fight. For every 10 people you would ask in boxing at that time who would win, I feel like I would hear a lot of people saying that Danny Garcia was gonna win. So, I think he has won some big fights. I don't think he's won like the massive fights. Like he didn't win. I mean, he didn't get the decision in Thurman. I thought he beat Thurman, but he didn't get the decision in the Thurman fight. And he didn't win against Kell Brook, but he beat Broner and he beat Broner at a catchweight. Broner is shit at welterweight, but he boiled down to the lightest weight of his entire career, which is 144, which is why I think he got dropped. 144, and he beat Broner easily. And he really that was the fight where people that were on the Broner bandwagon really started to realize, hey, Broner is a freaking hype job, because they're like, oh, how can you lose to a guy like Shawn Porter? He's so skilled, If Broner focused, he let his hands go. He one of the best fighters. No, he was never one of the best fighters out there. If you watched him when he fought Fernando Quintero, he never was as good as advertised. He was nothing more than a product of really good selective matchmaking and hype and talk and all that. But what I can say is this. Broner, for all the criticism I have given him over the years, he's never ducked nobody. Yeah. He's never been stopped. He's a tough customer, and I respect him because I feel like in an era where a lot of fighters ducked top competition, Broner actually tested himself. So whether you don't like his style or whatever you don't like about him, you can't say that he's not a real fighter because he has so much respect to Cincinnati's very own Adrian Broner. And you know what? Listen, I'll tell you this. I like Broner. I like the way he talked about. I always love him for the way he talked to Leonard Ellerby. You ain't with me. You're on my side. So I want to see him win a big fight. Like if he fights Danny Garcia, I want to see him beat Danny Garcia. I want to see him beat someone.
Broner brings hype to the boxing.
For good, bad, or indifferent, he's what boxing needs.
The other day we were watching a video about it, and I was rolling. Oh, you talking about Cincinnati?
Yeah.
He was going back to
these girls didn't want me.
He said nobody wanted. Like he was so peaceful. Nobody wanted me. I accomplished a lot. Pick up Cincinnati. Look at the hood. My guys are still the same. He goes, well, fuck you all. I don't want to do you guys. Like he just went off another rant, and it was like I don't owe you guys nothing. So he brings no matter how you want to think about Broner brings excitement to boxing. Whether it's stupid, it's dumb, or whatever he does, he knows how to bring the attention and put the fans in the seats.
Absolutely. Shout out to my guy, Ordinary P. He says Pops looks like he's in the back picturing what kind of spices he wants to use. he wants to use this Sunday.
Yeah, adobo, sazón, lo que tú quieras, cilantro.
You got one of them chef hats? You got one of them chef hats.
We
gonna buy one.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. A couple program reminders. So live fight reaction tonight for the Triller card. Live fight reaction Thursday for the UFC Fight Pass card. Live fight reaction Saturday for the Raul Valenzuela card. And a special live fight reaction Sunday, the Pops Cooking Extravaganza and PBC on Sunday as well. So listen, we gonna have fun with it. Hopefully you guys tune in and y'all look ahead to that. I'm looking forward to it. It's gonna be a lot. Wizard Sleep says, BT, I think Spence has brain damage that's being covered up. It's possible. It's possible. It's possible. I don't think there's no way in hell he can be the same when you consider what's happened to him with the car crash and the sparring and that attached retina. Great, fantastic fighter, but I think his career is about to come to a screeching halt, unfortunately. So hopefully,
sight's more important. So he's got to decide what he wants to do.
Yeah, and it's just a reminder that boxing is a short window of time to make money and get what you can out of it. So hopefully, for his sake, I'm sure he did well by himself. I don't know him personally, but I hear things about him on the grapevine, and I hear that he's done well for himself. And I don't think he'll be struggling to pay his bills after boxing. Shout out to my guy Eugenio Rodriguez. He says, "Who you got Terence Crawford pound for pound when he hasn't done anything since he's been at 147?" That's not true. A lot of people who say that just don't know shit about boxing. Now, people always want to criticize the Jeff Horn win, right? They say, "Oh, Jeff Horn was trash. Jeff Horn was this. He got to get against Manny Pacquiao." And listen, I thought he lost Manny Pacquiao, but the reality is this: before Jeff Horn even fought Manny Pacquiao, he beat 2 former world champions before he got that fight. He beat Randall Bailey, who's a former world champion. You know, one of the hardest punches of the last 10, 15 years. Retired him, beat the shit out of Randall Bailey. Got him out of there. Beat Ali Funeka, who was also a world champion. Got him out of there. You know, he was an Olympian for Australia. So Jeff Horn is better than people think he is. I'm not saying he's this great fighter, but he's not a bad guy to beat in your very first fight at welterweight. There's been fighters that have beaten way trasher fighters in their first fight in a weight class than Jeff Horn. Okay, so I don't think that Wayne gets no credit. Beat him easily. He didn't struggle with him like Manny Pacquiao did. You know what I'm saying? He beat him easily. You know, people want to talk about the Kell Brook fight. Kell Brook, you can say what you want about him, but who the hell has stopped Kell Brook in 4 rounds? Who stopped Kell Brook in 4 rounds? Spence didn't do it. Golovkin didn't do it. Crawford did. So, okay, has he fought the top guys out there? No. But to say he hasn't done anything at 147, I think would be intellectually dishonest. You know, there's guys out there who have fought way worse opposition at their weight class than he has at 147. But if you know, aside from 147, undisputed at 140, lineal champion at 140, lineal champion at 135. When he won his first world title against Ricky Burns, he didn't get the luxury like a lot of fighters get when they get to fight in the States or their home country or in some cases even the hometown. He had to go to Scotland. Jeez. He went all the way to Scotland to fight Ricky Burns. Before he fought Ricky Burns, he fought Breeders Prescott on short notice. Like 2 weeks notice. Yeah. You got fighters. You know, I love Caleb Plant to death, right? But Caleb Plant wasn't gonna fight Canelo unless he got an 8-week notice. But you know, that's his prerogative, it's his career. I'm not gonna criticize him for that. But like Crawford fought Breeders Prescott on 8 weeks notice. Oh no, a week notice, 2 weeks notice. Yeah. With almost no notice on HBO. Nobody knew who the fuck he was.
You're right. No.
Nobody knew who he was.
I mean, now my son had the discussion the other night. There's resume or skills, which is better judging a fighter. People will say that the resume, look at the resume, but at the end of the day, you gotta get in that fighting ring, fight who you gotta fight, and go from there. So you can have the most beautiful, lavishly resume, or you want to discredit a fighter, whatever you want to do, but at the end of the day, you gotta get in that ring with that fighter, and the skills pays the bills.
Presidential Luke says, "I got that fresh sofrito."
Ahí está, yo tengo sofrito también, gracias. Yo tengo en la nevera. I have sofrito in the refrigerator too.
Oh, Shakur is reminding us about something. He says, "BT, I thought this show was sponsored by the Arizona Flat Tummy Tea." No. You know, that was only for the special week, man. That was a one-off thing.
I like that.
You know, they pulled out. We had to go back to our roots, you know, our real sponsor, you know, which is Kool-Aid with no motherfucking sugar. You know, hey, in case you forgot, True School Sports, long-time sponsors. If you didn't get the first time, like True School Sports has been unofficially sponsored by
Vienna sausage, cinnamon buns, Wonder Bread, Kool-Aid with no motherfucking sugar.
There you have it, man. Let Jarrell Miller tell it best. Yeah. Let Jarrell Miller tell it best.
Yeah.
Hyro says, "BT, please go live on Thursday. Do it for the culture. Do it." We know we appreciate the people that lose. That's true. You want now look.
Anything kind of box
Thursday, you know, Sergey Bohachuk, you know, he was the Ukrainian Edgar Berlanga. He was like 18-0, 18 knockouts, and then he ran into Brandon Adams on they fought on a Ring City USA card.
That was it, yeah.
And I actually thought he was beating Brandon Adams, but then Brandon Adams found that miracle shot, knocked him the fuck out.
Jesus.
One of the best comeback wins I've seen all year. And now Bohachuk, his first fight to rebuild himself is this Thursday on UFC Fight Pass. Now look, you know you're really falling far as a fighter when you go from fighting on
UFC Fight.
At least, you know, you fight on NBC Sports and stuff like that. Now you fight on you know how hard it is to get UFC Fight Pass. You're not even fighting on a boxing platform, champ. You fighting on UFC Fight Pass. So look, I don't wish bad on no fighters. You gotta get it how you live. But you know, the rebuild starts with Sergey Bohachuk. So Thursday, Hyro only wants it. He's adamant for it, and I know why. Because people are gonna ask for the link, and then I'm gonna say I ain't got no damn link. So it's on UFC Fight Pass.
Yeah, it's all cool. I'll do anything for Hyro. I like Hyro. I have respect for Hyro.
That's something. Shout out to my man Ed. And I think it was Ed. I saw a comment on Punch Drunk's channel. It could have been Ed. It was somebody that commented when Punch Drunk was doing his pound list, and he's like, "Yo, True School was so underrated." I think it was you, Ed, but I could be wrong.
Thank you. Anyway.
But he said, Horn was a good win for a first fight at 140. It was. Listen, you could do a lot worse than beating a guy who just beat Manny Pacquiao, who had already beaten 2 former world champions before he beat Manny Pacquiao and was an Olympian. You can do a lot worse than that. A whole lot worse. See, all that talk doesn't matter. Bud will silence everyone in November.
That's what I'm talking about. Nebraska's kid. Son's coming back.
And shout out to Wizard Sleeve, you know, he's telling you the truth.
What is that?
He's telling you the truth. Bud can beat Josh Taylor, and Josh Taylor can beat Bud. It's the best fight in boxing. And you know what?
Boom, boom, boom. I like that.
I can't say I disagree.
Josh?
I truthfully can't say I disagree because, you know, people out there what boggles my mind, right? What boggles my mind is, right, this motherfucker Josh Taylor he's the undisputed champion, right? And he's beating fantastic fighters to get there. And people still haven't taken the time to really study this man's career and appreciate him.
They shade his career.
And they sit here and say, "Oh, well, hey, you know, you can't do this. You didn't beat this guy."
Yeah.
Listen, man, Josh Taylor. When we talk about fighters who actually do what they're supposed to do, ain't nobody fighter do. There's no fighter in boxing right now that's doing more what they're supposed to do than Josh Taylor. Okay, and he's truly. When these fighters want to flap their gums and talk and puff their chest out and say, "Yo, I want to fight the best fighters." Nah, they don't want to fight the best fighters. The guy that truly wants to fight the best fighters and that's actually doing it.
Yeah.
You know, he's not like, you know, a lot of you guys are patting Canelo on the back for attempting to become undisputed. Yeah. This motherfucker's already undisputed. Yeah. And it's not going to take him 50 fights. It's not going to take him 10 years as a pro. It's 18 fights undisputed. Straight like that. So I want to see that fight because I truthfully think anybody can win that fight.
And Taylor came out and said he said, "I don't want to fight nobody. I want Crawford."
Yeah.
I'm 147. I'm on Crawford.
Josh Boy 89 says, you could tell he was special, although he never looked like Stopping Ricky, but he gave him a boxing lesson. Absolutely. And he did it on the road. Sean T says, Prescott. Yeah, Prescott. You can't listen. You can't hate on the Prescott. Listen. You can't hate on the Breeders Prescott win because when he fought Breeders Prescott, nobody knew who the fuck Terence Crawford was. Nobody knew who he was. So for him to step in on short notice and fight a guy like Prescott,
beat him down,
who's a puncher on short notice, on like 1-2 weeks notice, and win as easy as he did, it says a lot about his character, and he believed in his skills so much that he took that bet on himself. How many fighters do you guys think in boxing would take a fight on short notice against a puncher like Breeders Prescott at that stage of his career? I mean, come on, man. Let's be real. I know it's easy. I know it's easy to have this revisionist history and think that, oh yeah, you know, Breeders Prescott, look at his record. Nah, Breeders Prescott's lost a ton of fights since then, so I get it. But you know, Breeders Prescott on short notice, it's not a bad win. I'm not a Canelo fan, but what number in your list of power pound is he going to be when he becomes the first undisputed at 168? I don't know. I mean, he'll be a top 5 pound fighter. I mean, look, if he becomes pound for pound, he's not doing anything different than Usyk and Crawford and Josh Taylor have done. So he's just now finally catching up to those guys. So, you know, he beats Caleb Plant, good for him. But you guys already know what you guys already know. If Canelo wants to become pound for pound, there's one fight that he can win that's gonna get him there for sure with me. I don't even gotta tell you what fight that is. You know, my Jesse Hart voice. You already know what it is. You already know what it is. You already know what fight Canelo needs to win to become the pound for pound king of boxing. You already know. You already know what fight it is. So if he becomes undisputed against Caleb Plant, you know, in a fight where he's a big favorite, you guys are all saying Caleb Plant sucks, and Caleb Plant hasn't fought nobody. So I'm gonna hold that against you guys. If Caleb Plant sucks and he hasn't fought nobody, then if he beats him, I really shouldn't give him that much credit because Caleb Plant sucks and he's fought nobody. So if he beats him, all he's doing is just catching up to Josh Taylor. Josh Taylor's done more in his 18 fights than Canelo's done his entire career. Canelo's just now becoming undisputed if he does beat him. Josh Taylor's been undisputed 18 fights. Usyk done it in less than 20 fights. Crawford did it 3 years ago. So congratulations, you finally caught up. Congratulations. He'll maybe be like 3rd or 4th. But to be honest, I'm gonna go on my man Josh Boy. Josh Boy says Canelo is obviously up there, but his camp is suspect, and he will have the cloud of PED use over him in his camp in general. And honestly, look, with Canelo is lucky to even be on my list. I don't even want to put him on my damn list because he's a freaking PED drug cheat, and he's got everything catered to him more than any fighter on the damn pound list. So truthfully, I don't even want to put him on my pound list, but I'm being fair. If he beats Caleb Plant, you know, he might be in the top 3. He might, because he's just now catching up. And a lot of where he falls in the pound list also depends on what the hell. If Usyk beats Joshua, there's no way Canelo's above Usyk because he beat unified heavyweight champion. He beats Joshua. So, you know, a lot of it depends on what a lot of these other guys do, you know, in boxing. So it's hard for me to tell you where he'd be. But he's lucky he's even on there if I put him there, you know? Josh Taylor is the undisputed super duper lightweight champion. You damn right. You damn right. Shout out to my man Eliezer. Shout out to my guy Eliezer. Now that is the guy who can beat Canelo. Who we talking about? And we talking about Boo Boo? Listen, I don't think Boo Boo's gonna get a chance to beat Canelo because I think come November the 6th, you know, Canelo's gonna get a big fat L on his resume from Caleb Plant. BT, you're just praying Plant pull out the upset of the century so you can say you told us so. I don't think it's the upset of the century. Canelo is not good enough of a fighter for me to call this an upset of the century. I think Canelo's a favorite, yes. It's a mild upset, but I wouldn't call it the upset of the century. It's not a bigger upset than you know, Oscar Valdez beating Burchell. It's not a bigger upset than, let me see, what's been the biggest upset of 2021? Well, what do you guys think? What's been the biggest upset of this year? I'm trying to think what's been the biggest upset of this year so far because I can't think of it right now. But upset of the century, that's a joke. It's not Canelo is not good enough of a fighter for me to call this an upset of the century. It'll be a mild upset at best if he wins. Truthfully, I think Caleb Plant should be Canelo. I've went ahead. I've looked at the tape. I've looked at what they both do. I've studied them both in depth. I'll be shocked if Caleb Plant loses this fight. It would actually shock me if Caleb Plant. The only way I think he could lose this fight is by get decision. That won't surprise me. But I'm saying, like, if Canelo actually goes there and just steamrolls him, that would actually surprise me. That would shock me to death. I'm not praying for the upset of the century, so I can say I told you so. I didn't always think that Caleb Plant could beat Canelo, but as I've been watching him and studying him more, I think he's gonna beat him. You know, his ability to put together 3-4 punch combinations, defensively, his ability to vary the jab, his foot speed. These things are all going to take away or neutralize what Canelo does best, which is plant his feet, explode, and beat you up to the body. So we'll see how it goes. But I think it's a good fight to win, and I'm looking very forward to it. Mr. Good 189 says Canelo will beat Caleb Plant because of the steroids. We'll see, man. What if they both get on steroids? Then who wins? Who do you think would win if they're both on steroids? If they're both on steroids and Caleb Plant has that stamina, who do you guys think wins? Because I think if Caleb Plant gets on that shit and he's on steroids, Canelo definitely ain't winning. Frank says Nonito Donaires win over Ubali. It was definitely a bit of a shocker to people out there, but I thought Donaire was going to beat him, so to me that wasn't an upset, but I could see where people think that's an upset. I'm talking about like a super duper upset. What was like a really big upset this year? I can't really think of one. I can't think of one right now. We'll see, man. But I wouldn't maybe the best upset of the year, and I wouldn't call it a big upset either. Maybe Lee Wood versus Ju Can. I think Lee Wood versus Ju Can was an upset. Well, Mauricio Lara versus Josh Warrington. That was an upset. Nobody knew who the hell Mauricio Lara was before the Josh Warrington first fight. That was an upset. So to me, that's like the upset of the year. That was this year, right? I think that was this year. BT and Wizard Sleep. Tiafimo is going to beat Josh Taylor. We're gonna have to go ahead and see. Plant doesn't have. Hold on, where is it? Plant doesn't have the power to stop Canelo from keep coming forward at him. Yes, he does. He don't got. Listen, you don't have to have the power and to beat Canelo. That's already been proven. Floyd proved that. Larry Mosley exposed Canelo. He didn't have power. He proved that. A lot of guys have already proven you don't need power to go 12 rounds of Canelo and have success against him. Lara don't got power. He went 12 rounds, and a lot of people thought he beat Canelo. It's not about power with Canelo. It's about precision, and it's about speed. If you know anything about boxing, if you've been in that ring, you know, whether as a sparring, to spar people or to just train, or if you've competed at all, you know that in boxing, speed is power. And one thing we know about Caleb Plant is that he punches very fast. So if you punch very fast and your punches get from point A to point B very fast, that means you do have power. And listen, I've had the honor and privilege to watch Caleb Plant spar in person, and I'm telling you straight away, straight now, straight like this, Caleb Plant does have the power to keep Canelo off of him. And a lot of you guys are gonna be very, very surprised come November the 6th. Straight up. Plant will lose in a decision even when Canelo fans are surprised Canelo will win. Yeah, that's the only way I think Canelo's going to win. Maybe he gets a decision, but listen, I think you can never underestimate the power of Al Heyman. Well, you know, I think we'll get a decision because of Al Heyman. It's very possible. Mueller 27 says the Floyd fight was a long time ago. I'll remind you after the fight of my point. He's the same fighter. It doesn't matter if Canelo Alvarez is literally the same fighter when he fought Floyd. He had 42 fights of built-up habits, training camps, sparring sessions, tendencies. He's the same fighter. This narrative of, oh, he's a different fighter, he just became this different guy after Floyd. No, nonsense, foolishness. Because before he fought Floyd, if you watch the Austin Trout fight, he showed defensive abilities in the Austin Trout fight. You know, they've just matched them very carefully since the Floyd fight. You know, even the fights that were dangerous, like Golovkin, it was a good fight for Canelo because Golovkin's not going to move, and he can plant his feet, and he can beat you up. He didn't become no different fighter after Floyd. He's the same guy. Number one, pound for pound, King Canelo, who punked Boo Boo and his dad versus Plant. Oh, you mean Canelo, who acted like a straight bitch when he said he was gonna fuck him up, but he hid behind the security guards, Eddie Hearn? Get the fuck out of here. No way. He didn't pump with Demetrius Andrade. He acted like a spoiled, pompous little rich kid and talked about, oh, do fight with nobody. He was funny. He was cool. It made for some good sound bites, but he said all this stuff he was gonna do, and he didn't do it. Now I don't know how they do things in Guadalajara, Jalisco, but where I'm from, if you talk like that, you actually have to back it up. You actually have to do what you say you're gonna do. And he didn't do anything. He stood right there. He stood right there in his seat and did absolutely nothing. So he didn't punk nobody. He just showed the world how much of a pretender he is. Shout out to my guy Carlo M. Canelo is an amazing mid-range pocket fighter. He is. That's really the only thing that's improved since the Floyd fight. That's the only department I'll give him credit. But other than that, he's the same fighter. Like, he's literally the same fighter since he fought Floyd. But yeah, the upper body movements, the way he's able to make these punches miss and counter instantaneously, I'll give him that. You know, he's delivered some of the best counter punches I've ever seen in the boxing ring. When he fought Cotto, Cotto threw an uppercut, and he countered the uppercut with an uppercut, which is very rare in boxing. So you got to give him some credit for his natural fighting instincts. I give him that, but he's not a different fighter. That's ridiculous. But that's how I know he's been such a well-marketed fighter, that they've been able to actually they've actually been able to craft a narrative that's not even true. Let me see. Sergey Boychuk is gonna beat the shit out of 16-2 Rafael. I can't even pronounce that guy's name. You a fan of Roy Jones? You all love boxing. Plus, you gotta support Boychuk. This is worse than the BET network. Yeah, man. Listen, we'll be live for it. Hyrule. Thursday night, Sergey Boychuk. We ain't got shit else to do, so why not? His style is a flat foot, but that's his style. Exactly. And because that's his style, and because Eddie Reynoso is his manager and his trainer, he's picking the styles that are most conducive to flat-footed fighters. This fight is not a fight where he's fighting a guy where his style is conducive to Caleb Plant. I'm trying to tell you guys in advance, if you choose not to listen, that's your prerogative. Whether Canelo loses or gets a good decision, Caleb Plant will win this fight. Whether it be in the court of public opinion, he'll win this fight, or if he does it legitimately by the decision, he's going to beat him. You can't punk a guy that you ducked for under. Exactly. You can't punk somebody and say, escribiendo la historia, viva Mexico, and all this bullshit he likes to say just to get people on his side. You can't duck a guy when you had a chance to fight him multiple times in multiple weight classes, and you just decided to, you know, conveniently not fight him because he's boring. You know, we saw what happened. We saw what happened when Oscar Valdez fought a guy who was boring. He got his fucking ears boxed off by Robertson Conceicao. So, you know, we see why Canelo doesn't fight these boring guys. If Canelo does beat down Plant, would he then be a pound for pound number one? No, absolutely not. Because he's just now. If he beats Plant, and you guys are gonna say I'm hating, but if he beats Plant, the fact. This isn't me. This isn't my feelings. This is actually factual. If he beats Plant, he's just now catching up to Crawford. He's just now catching up to Usyk. Listen, God forbid, if Usyk beat Joshua, Usyk pound for pound number one, because Usyk already been undisputed at a weight class. What Canelo was aiming to do, Usyk did it 2-3 years ago, and he'll be unified champion at heavyweight. He'll be one of the guys at heavyweight. So Usyk would have a greater claim than me if he beats Joshua. You know, he's just now catching up. Josh Taylor already done what Canelo's trying to do in way less time.
And so who's really escribiendo la historia?
He ain't making history. There's been guys. Listen, there's been guys before him, long before him,
perpetrating a fraud,
long before him, that have already done what he's attempting to do with Caleb Plant. Okay, and
the only thing I give it is doing it for it because he wants to be the first Mexican to whatever. But
the only reason, listen, if y'all want to be blunt, because we call this the home of boxing, we call this true school sports. If y'all want to be truthful, the only reason Canelo's run to undisputed is even being talked about as much as it is because he's Mexican. Let's just be honest. Mexicans have the most. The fighters get the most support in North America. So because he's Mexican, it's going to be the biggest deal. Nobody cares about the American fighter. Nobody cares about the Ukrainian fighter. And nobody cares about the Scottish fighters. But the American fighter already went undisputed. The Scottish fighter already went undisputed. And the Ukrainian fighter already went undisputed. So if he does that, welcome. What Lomachenko say to you? Welcome to my club.
Yeah,
welcome to my club. So how did Canelo punked Andrade? Yeah, like that's like you know when you're in school. You know when you're in school, and you're about to get into a fight, but then you have your friends fight for you, and then you sit behind your friends, and you act like they're holding you back. Yeah, that's literally what Canelo talking to Demetrius Andrade behind Eddie Hearn and security guards was.
I mean, I think I'll be honest with you. I think a lot of people give too much credit.
Who do you think? Here you go. It's funny. Me and you just it hasn't come out yet, but me and you just made a video talking about this. Yeah. And what's the first thing Canelo fans do? Hold on, where we at? What's the first thing the Canelo fans do? They say piece of paper. They say
resume.
Who do you think has a better resume, Plant or Billy Joe Saunders? Well, obviously Billy Joe. He's been professional longer. He's been in bigger fights, but he's not a tougher matchup for Canelo at 168. If we're talking about who is the better fighter at 168, it's not even close. Caleb Plant is a way better fighter than Billy Joe. Billy Joe, truthfully, is trash. He was a trash 68-pounder. Billy Joe won a vacant belt against a guy you probably can't even tell me who he won a vacant belt against. And then he fought the Argentinian dude on the Jake Paul card and Logan Paul card and didn't look good. His best performance at 168 was against Canelo. And he got his fucking eyes broken. Come on, man.
Stay tuned for that video. You're gonna love that video.
We just made a video like 2 days ago about about resumes and how they don't matter the way fans think they do.
Yeah, you could have the greatest resume, the greatest account about yourself and everything. But all that matters is when you get your fucking ass in the ring.
Listen, there's three fights. Listen, there's 3 fights. That's y'all want to ask because I don't know. I've said this shit so many times. I've said this shit so many times.
Go BT, tell them, baby. Let them know.
I've said this shit so many times, and
love you
people,
guys. Love your comments.
It's not registering. So I'm gonna have to keep repeating myself. Okay, there's 3 fights that can get Canelo to that level for me. All right. And I'm going to tell you guys which ones hold the most points and why in chronological order, okay? First and foremost, the fight that could get number 1 for sure is Demetrius Andrade. Now, I can hear it already. They're going to say, who has he fought? They're going to say.
They're going to get their resume.
They're going to do that. But the reality is this.
What's his skills?
Demetrius Andrade is defensively one of the best fighters in boxing. He doesn't lose rounds most of the time when he fights. He's been in Canelo's weight class twice. Canelo has clearly ducked and avoided him and is not a debate. It's not for conversation. It happened. It's a fact. So by beating him, I feel like he would be actually going back and cleaning up his own mess and beating a guy that he should have beat a while ago. I would give him a lot of credit because I don't, truthfully, from 160 to 168, I don't think there's a fighter in either of those weight classes that can beat Demetrius Andrade. And if you think otherwise, then beat him. Somebody says they're playing fight him and beat him, and then they'll get the props. Yeah. So Canelo beats him. Fuck it. If Canelo fights him, if Canelo fights, listen, forget beating him. He fights him. Yeah. If Canelo fights him, if Canelo fights him and loses, I will keep Canelo on pound list.
The bottom line is, if Canelo would just go ahead and fight him and get in the ring with him and have the fight, you wouldn't have these questions come
Here we go.
I'm
gonna cut you up. Mueller says he beat Isubi for the belt. I know you don't. No, fuck it. I do know he beat Isubi for the belt. I was just, you probably went on Google and you went on BoxRec and you said, oh, he beat Isubi. But no, he beat Isubi. He fought the Argentinian guy. Come on, man.
Don't let him go there.
You know, he says if Bubu Andrade moved up to 168, he'll be mandatory for Canelo. Your knowledge is very poor. No, your knowledge is very poor. You're using the clause that the WBO says to say that if he goes up, he can become mandatory. Okay, let's just say he becomes mandatory. Let's say he becomes mandatory. He goes the WBO route, right? You know what Canelo can do? Canelo can fight WBC mandatory. He can fight the WBA mandatory and the IBF mandatory. He could freeze him out. He can fucking freeze him out. And you're sitting here saying, your knowledge is very poor. Your knowledge is very poor. Since you know so much, here we go. I'm going to give you a trivia question. I gave a Canelo fan this question the other night. He tucked his tail between his legs. When Canelo fought for his first world title against Matthew Hatton, what weight were they supposed to fight at? You riddle me that one. Riddle me that one. What weight were they supposed to fight at? And the other trivia question is did Canelo come in on weight? Riddle me that one. He says, I'm not a Canelo fan. Wait, you sound like one. You sound like one. You sound a lot of stupid as well.
You didn't finish in your list.
But I was saying,
don't worry about that. Thank you for the comments. God bless, man.
What's his name? What's his name? So yeah, I said Andre. Go ahead and beat him. Fuck, you fight him. You fight him regardless of how you lose. Yeah. If you lose, you on the pound list. Yeah. Okay. You don't. Okay. After him, Benavidez. You know, he's the guy that had a belt. He's the reason why you wanted to become undisputed. Because let's be real, if you had a WBC belt, you wouldn't be talking about going undisputed.
You'd be running the other way.
You would be fighting fucking Yildirim in a rematch. Okay. That would be great because I feel like even if he beats Plant, a lot of people are going to clamor for that fight, and they think he's the best 160 pounder. So go there, leave no doubt. Leave no doubt. Clean that division for real. Yeah. And then the fight that he said he was gonna get people. Remember when he said that they said he was gonna fight Bivol, and I told you guys, I was like, nah, that's not happening. They're just using it as a negotiational tactic, and then I was right. Well, hey, that's what happened. So Andre, Benavidez, Bivol, any one of them three, I'm good with it. So yeah, but yeah.
And didn't you say one time that when Andre was in one weight class, he could have fought Andre was a mandatory or something, and he jumped somewhere else to another weight class? Canelo? Yeah. Anyway, we're not trying to.
He said, "I'm just stating facts compared to your personal opinion." Like, no, I'm not stating a personal opinion. You're stating a personal opinion. I've told you. Listen, you said I don't know if it was you, but people have asked me where would he be on your list. I said, well, he's not gonna be number one because he's just doing what three other guys who are active have already done. You're talking about these guys at 68. I already know he beat the Sufi. He beat Billy will beat the Sufi. He beat the Argentinian guy. So Plant, to me, he's beaten better fighters at 168. He's shown himself to be a better fighter at 168. You know, I don't think Canelo is scared of Bubu Andrade. The fight would not sell no tickets because no one knows Andrade. Bullshit. Canelo fought. You can't use that excuse. Canelo fought fucking Avni, the Turkish Wolf, Yildirim in Miami, which is a very hard place to sell tickets. And he sold like 15,000, 16,000 tickets at the Hard Rock Stadium. All right. For like the Hard Rock Stadium. So it doesn't, listen, Canelo Alvarez, for good, bad, or indifferent, he has gotten to that place in his career where it doesn't matter. He could fight anybody, and he's going to put his asses in the seats. So that's only an excuse people use because they don't want to see him in a fight where he could potentially lose. You know what I'm saying?
The bottom line.
JK13 says, remember when you quit covering boxing for a day and a half? It was actually about 7.5 days, but yeah, I remember that. Why? Apparently you remember it. That's why you're bringing it up. It's good to be back though. Thank you for being here.
We love you guys, man.
Thank you for being here. How is he gonna deal with a guy who is literally going to counter, literally beat him to the punch, use his reach, max, break the will of a guy who lost his daughter and mother with power? We're gonna see, man. We're gonna see. But listen, man. Either way, we're not here to talk about that. We veered away from the main topic of the video a little bit.
Yeah,
I'm just happy that Crawford's fighting Porter. I'm gonna be in Vegas for that. Hopefully, when tickets go on sale, I'll definitely be purchasing a ticket, just as long as it's not like outrageously expensive, which I don't think it will be. Yeah, man. You know, it's welcome news for boxing because last week was probably the worst week of boxing ever, because of what happened with Valdez, and then to see a guy like Holyfield get KO'd at damn near 60 years old and round by an MMA fighter, that wasn't cool either. So just to get this news this early in the week is just really, really good. It's good for this welterweight division, which in my opinion has been extremely overrated for a long time because none of these guys are fighting each other. So just to get a top ranked fighter to fight a PBC fighter, even if it's Porter, who's not like a champion. Thank God. Thank God. The stars and the moon and the quasars have created an equinox, and we finally got something going in boxing. Something good, something positive to talk about boxing.
The thing with Team 6, you not fighting Tony Harrison? Because Tony Harrison didn't want to go to Australia, I don't think.
Hold on. Mulder said, you said Canelo will fight other Mandos rather than Boo Boo if he went to 168. That's an opinion. Boo Boo moved to 168. If Boo Boo moved to 168 and became mandatory, he is a fact. Well, let's use common sense, because common sense ain't so common these days. When we already know that unifications trump on mandatories. If there's a fighter that's mandatory, and a fighter who's a champion gets presented with a chance to fight another fighter who has a belt for a unification and or undisputed fight, it is literally, you can go to any sanctioning body's rules, it's literally the rules. A unification and or mandatory trumps, or a unification or undisputed trumps a mandatory. It is bigger, it means more, it takes priority and precedence over a mandatory. So when Canelo was in the same weight class as Demetrius Andrade at 160, he had a chance to go undisputed, okay? And when he was asked about it, and it was a possibility, he said, I'm not going to fight him because he's boring. He then proceeded to vacate his belt, move up to, 168?
Yeah.
Or 175, fought Kovalev. Then he moved down and fought, was it Fielding or whatever?
Yeah.
And he never came out in 160 to try to put that stamp on his division. So if past history tells us any indication, it's not an opinion, because he was in a situation that was actually more advantageous to him right now. If Boo Boo did everything you're saying for him to do right now, he goes to 168, becomes mandatory, right? That's actually a less advantageous situation than when he was at 160, because when he was at 160, they could have fought for all the marbles because it would have been an undisputed fight. So it's not an opinion. What I'm saying is fact. And if you want to take it even further, okay? If you want to take it even further, let's go to when he was at 54. When he was at 54, when this motherfucker was at 54.
I've heard this before.
Okay.
Because
I've talked about it so many times. When he was at 54, this motherfucker had the WBO belt, and he could have fought Boo Boo when he didn't have nothing. He didn't have shit. All he had was this. That's all he had. A piece of paper. Right? That's all he had. He didn't have what he had now. He had no belt. He just had the fact that he was a big ticket seller, and literally, this motherfucker fought James Kirkland in a baseball stadium rather than fight Demetrius Andrade for the WBO title. So I'm just saying, man, you're saying what I'm saying is a personal opinion. It's not a personal opinion. There's been situations already, multiple times in his career, that would have been as advantageous or more advantageous for Canelo, and he didn't make it happen. But either way, get me off topic.
Yeah. I'm just gonna there's been a lot of trainers, a lot of people saying that they didn't come out and say the names who Canelo should fight to make his legacy better. They just basically said there's some fighters still that Canelo needs to fight, whether they're black, white, Hispanic, whatever. They literally came out and said, like, his legacy. This is Mexican people saying this. His legacy ain't nothing yet until he fights these top guys. So
who's saying that? Because they'll be saying that here. They said everywhere else but here.
No, I'm saying that when tell you who said Golden Boy's father, his father senior said. He said, listen. He said it. I forgot who else.
De La Hoya's dad?
Yeah, said it. Somebody else said it. I forgot who else said it. They came out and said that until he fights certain fighters, whether they're black or whatever, till he fights some top fighters, the top notch. Even typically, Bradley came out and said the same thing. He's just jumping from division to division, which basically solidifies that. So he could have been undisputed a long time ago. So don't make it. And like I said, I'm not taking that Canelo because he sells seats. He comes from where he came from. He's a great, supposedly Mexican fighter in a lot of people's eyes. In my eyes, I don't think he's the greatest of all because he's fucking not. There's not a discussion. But the bottom line is, people have even quoted saying that Canelo has not fought the top people in either whether it's 160 or 168 to get where he's at. So guess what? I believe that he hasn't even. He's in the franchise. He got everything.
I gotta cut you off. I gotta cut you off.
But good luck to Canelo.
I gotta cut you off. He says, Harold says, I can't be stopped, can't be touched or rocked. We coming on Thursday. On Thursday, man, we're gonna support. We're gonna support these club shows, club quality boxing.
Hey Harold, we'll do anything for you. I got respect for you, Harold. You know your shit. You know more than I do. Much respect to you. So if you want us to do that, we're gonna do it for you.
Boo Andre can fight GGG and Charlo, but everyone is avoiding him. They are avoiding him. That's not.
He can call.
Freaking. Didn't Jamal Charlo just swagger jack Canelo and have no swag and jack his line to say, yeah, you heard what Canelo said, he's a horrible fighter. Did you not? Did you miss that interview? Did you miss that one? Did you miss that one? Did you miss the Golovkin? Well, what the fuck he been at? We ain't seen
who?
We ain't seen or heard about Golovkin. I don't know how long.
Yeah, last time he was supposed to fight Murata.
He's supposed to fight Murata.
Well, that wasn't happening.
He's semi-retired, so I don't even know what we talking about Triple G. He basically semi-retired.
He's out of the equation. Bottom line is
he ain't been in a real fight since he ain't been in a real fight since Daryvenchenko.
Yeah, how we fought? Yeah.
2 years ago. Come on, man. Listen, man.
Listen, I wish you Canelo the best, but you can never say, and I'm gonna say it again, until he fights.
I'll be honest.
Until he fights.
I want to talk about something else.
Okay, we're going to change
I'm tired of talking about this.
Let's change the subject.
Every live.
You think Tim not fighting Tony Harrison?
He's not fighting Tony?
No.
Well, no, because he's supposed to be fighting the mandatory.
No. What happened was I think what happened was Harrison didn't want to go trust. Where was he from? Australia, where he's from?
It's a long ass
But King Kong's supposed to have my boy King Kong Ortiz supposed to have an announcement soon. I seen it on Instagram. He's coming, guys. I don't know who he's fighting, but King Kong's back.
I got an opponent for Luis Ortiz.
Who's that?
He can fight Evander Holyfield, but they're about the same age.
Hey, don't disrespect my King Kong, man. Big up King Kong.
Nah, I'm just joking. But it'd be nice. It would definitely be nice to
him and Baby Miller
to see Luis Ortiz in just any sort of fight, whether it be against
Combat Baby Miller,
Ruiz, Parker, White, Hrgovic. Can we get that fight? Can my guy Hrgovic get a fight?
Yeah, they were saying. Well, I was showing you that he thought that he should fight Corley, the IBF rank, number 15 rank. I was reading that out, but that Coley, you said Coley won't fight. Coley won't fight him.
Oh, Coley, wait, who?
To fight Hrgovic for the IBF.
Lawrence Coley?
I don't know which one it is. I'm not sure the list.
The cruiserweight?
Yeah. No, not the cruiserweight. The heavyweight.
Oh, Martin Bacoli.
Yeah,
Martin Bacoli.
Yeah.
He's fighting on Saturday too, by the way.
But I mean, everybody. One fight that me, someone talking about, Hrgovic was who did I say? We were taking a walk the other night at 2:00 in the morning. We were walking, we were talking boxing. I said to you, I would love to see Hrgovic, and you said Joe Joyce or somebody.
Joe Joyce, yeah. Joe Joyce.
Hrgovic's a quiet guy, he's a quiet line, man, but he's got to get his fights.
My man, Milky Way says, does anyone even care about the Khan versus Brook fight? I'll be honest. Right now, I don't care about it, but I'll tell you this. I'm just going to be honest. I might be in the very small minority, but if that fight were to get made like today, like right now, I would actually be over the moon. Yeah, because that's a fight that I've talked about so much.
I think for the English fans,
and I really feel like if there was ever gonna be a live that I would be excited for, it'd be that one. I've done over like 20 videos about that fight.
You know how you always say like promoters are all about the money and everything and this and that. But they were speaking about that Khan and Brook fight. They were asking, of course, Eddie Hearns, and he was like, "Oh, they're both looking for their retirement checks and this and that." If the fight happens, I'm not really thrilled if it happens. If it does, so be it. But it might be great for the English people, for the UK.
I'll be honest.
I think the fight's been washed up. I'll be honest with you.
I think Eddie Hearns is full of shit. He knows for a fact if that fight happens in the UK, it's not what it once was. Like I don't think it's not a fight that I think would sell out Wembley Stadium.
No, but it will still sell.
But I think it's a fight that could still sell out the
O2
Arena.
And that's like a fight like as far as what the English UK fans want to see. I think they would love to see that fight. But like I said, promoters are really greedy and they're more about the money. So he's just selling short. I
And
think,
and
whatever.
on top of that, like my man Josh from China. My guy
China,
Josh,
shout out China.
all the way out
UConn.
in
We
China.
got UConn size boxing glove sign right here.
Shout out to my guy Josh all around China. He
Yeah.
says Amir Khan versus Kell Brook will be big in the UK, and it'll be a nice final payday for them in what will be an entertaining fight. And listen, I think it will be an
I
entertaining
think
fight
so too.
because they're both vulnerable. Like Brook has the 2 titanium eye sockets.
But they're both
Khan
in their
got a
late
glass
30s,
chin.
right? They're both in their late 30s now?
Brook's in the mid-30s.
Yeah.
So Khan's got the glass chin.
Yeah.
Brook has a titanium plate in his eyes. Who's gonna break? Who's gonna break first? You know, it'd be a good fight.
Yeah.
Eugenio Rodriguez says, yeah, Stephen Fulton is a beast. His unification fight was canceled. Yeah, I'm
that kind of
aware
sucks,
of it.
man. I can't wait. I hope they come up and do it again. I want to see that fight.
I gotta go.
I really want, believe it or not, and I'm pulling for my boy from Las Vegas. I want Andrew O'Leary to get a rematch, man, because I think he's gonna put an ass whipping on full.
We haven't even heard anything about Angelo.
I give a damn. I
what he's
still,
gonna do
whenever he
next.
gets in the ring and beats the next opponent, or whenever he can, I would love Fulton to give him a rematch. But I don't think it's gonna happen.
I hope for Angelo's sake he moves up to featherweight.
You think so?
Yeah, I think Angelo.
He's done his weight class. Was bigger.
I don't think he's done. I still think he can make 122. I just know his last when he weighed in his last for his last fight against Alameda, he was right on the dot. Right on the dot.
Right. Oh, okay. So you
So
don't
I
want
feel like he's really sucking down to get to that weight.
Yeah.
And I think there's a lot. I think if he were to actually move up to featherweight, there's good fights out there for him. You know, you got Jucan, Josh Warrington, Leo Santa Cruz. There's
and I still like to have that Sonny Alvarez fight too made up again. I ain't gonna lie to you. And I like that Nakatani that Harold put me on.
Junto.
That motherfucker's a beast, man. We all better watch out for it. I don't know if he put me. I got 4 eyes, and I love that fight, man. Harold, thank you again, man. I don't know. Do the guys know about him? You know, do they know about Japanese fighting?
Yeah. If y'all didn't see Junto Nakatani,
beat the shit out of my boy from Puerto Rico.
Junto Nakatani, he's he's like 21-0, I think. WBO flyweight champion. Tall,
reach, everything about him.
Good reach, good power. You know, someone that looks like he's got the goods to be the best fighter in his weight class. I'll be honest.
Did he impress you that much, man?
Yeah, it's still early in his career, but I really think Junto. When we talk about Junto, I feel like Junto could go up to. I think after he's done at flyweight, whether he holds the belt for a long time or not, he's got the skills and the body frame to go up to 115 and be a factor at 115, which is really around those weights, the glamour division. You know, with Chocolatito, Estrada, Cajas.
Right.
And the crazy thing is, he's gonna go to that weight class, and he's gonna be big for even that weight.
Jeez.
Because he's 5'7".
And
ain't a lot of guys at 115 who are 5'7". So
I always love tall fighters when they use the distance and use their punching the way they use and do the selection and everything. And for him coming for the first time to the USA, it came out with a bang like that. I fucking love that. I really did.
Yeah, man. Shout out to my guy 704 Joe. He says, "True School, do you give Porter a chance?" Of course. Sean Porter's gonna have a chance.
Everybody got a chance,
especially when you're well conditioned as he is. But I just think, look, this is me. I just think it's Terence Crawford's coming out party. You know, he's been waiting a long time for this. There's been a lot of built-in frustration over the years, from Earl Spence turning into a diva to PBC having a whole witness protection program formulated against not fighting him over the last 3 years. And I think he's gonna take out his entire frustration on, like somebody said earlier, on PBC in this fight. So it's a good fight. I think there's definitely some things for Crawford to be weary of. Porter has improved in certain departments over the years as a fighter, but I just think Terence Crawford, he's too skilled, too fast, too good, too sharp to lose to a Shawn Porter, in my opinion.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I'm the same.
And listen, if you're just coming into the live, make sure you smash that like button. If you're watching the playback, smash the like button. But also, didn't hear what I said earlier in the live, my ass will be in Las Vegas. Not just for this fight, but I'm going to be in Las Vegas before, around the time of the Canelo fight. And we're going to be listen, y'all might, if you guys go to the arena or the weigh-in, you might catch BT out there. I'm going to be there talking to the fans. I want to hear what people got to say about this planned Canelo fight. So I'm going to be there. I'm going to have a whole lot to say. And
he didn't want to hear you guys say, "Oh, I was at the fight." And,
yeah.
You
know what happens? I go to these fights sometimes, right? And listen, some of you guys on the internet are just weird. Like, you guys are some weird ass people on the internet. I literally, like, it's happened to me 3 times this year. 3 times. There's been 3 people that told me, like one guy commented a week ago. He's like, "Yo, this guy doesn't know shit about boxing. I saw him at the AT&T Stadium and whatever." And I'm like, well, I'll by myself. I don't listen when I go to these places. I don't go
Like a group.
My dad was with me.
Yeah.
I go dolo by myself.
Yeah.
So like, and I'm not a big guy. I'm pretty short. So if he saw me, he didn't come up to me.
It's
That's
like
just weird. Like you guys. Some people will come on the internet.
yeah.
They'll talk their shit. They'll say this. They'll say that.
It's not about hating.
And it's not about hating. And I'm not.
It's like, how you doing?
I'm like, Jesus,
What's up?
say what's up.
Know, hey, this is like when this is the same analogy that I always use when somebody sees you walking by in the streets and they pass you in the car.
One guy
and then
told
when
me,
they see you, they say, "Oh, I see you."
You know what
walking.
somebody told me?
Fuck, you didn't stop and see if you need any help or something.
Somebody told me.
Fuck out of here.
Somebody told me. What did he say? He said, "Oh, I got footage of you walking around AT&T Stadium."
Yeah.
What the fuck?
Yeah, I mean, it's just right. I mean, if you follow True School Sports, if you come to the channel, if you don't, but if you know the person, just come on and say hi.
Muller 27 says, "Do you think if Tio wasn't American, he would have fought by now?" What does that mean?
Who's this now?
What are you insinuating?
What are you saying about Tio Fimo?
He said, "Do you think if Tio wasn't American, do you think if Tio wasn't American, he would have fought by now?" So you're saying what you're trying to say? The American fighters are all of them are lazy? I'm not even mad at you because I think I'm not even mad at you because I do think a lot of American fighters are lazy. But I really just think when it comes to his situation, it's all just politics. It's boxing politics.
That's exactly what I was gonna say.
You know,
a lot of it is just politics and going back and forth on that. I don't think it has nothing to do where, if it's American, whatever color, whatever case may be. It's just all politics.
Listen, either way, I'm just happy his ass is fighting October the 4th. I don't think it's done him any good to be on a layoff and lose the momentum he got after beating Lomachenko. If anything, it's actually hurt him.
Yeah, he better not sleep on
Kambosos.
Yeah, Kambosos been patiently waiting. Good things come from the people that come. But I know that Tio's gonna take. I got him winning the fight, but I'm not gonna sleep on Kambosos either.
We'll see, man. Kambosos definitely does not lacking confidence.
No, man. Well, I got. Listen, one thing that I noticed about Kambosos, and we've talked about this all the time. If you can get it to fighter's head before the fight, and that stays in you, I don't care. That can distract you from anything. It's like sometimes when you get hit, your blood goes back.
It's coming up.
So what I'm saying is, Kambosos done a good job of getting in Teofimo's head. In that press conference, he really got to him big time. So I'm not taking away that I don't think Teofimo's not going to win the fight because I pick him to win the fight. But I'm just saying don't sleep on him because he already got in your head.
The Tio that I saw, the Teofimo Lopez that I saw on sparring a couple months ago.
Oh, you got to see him. That's right.
If that guy shows up, Joey Kambosos is leaving leaving the arena on a stretcher.
Well, Teofimo said
I don't wish bad on him.
He's going to take him out in the first round.
I don't wish bad on him, but if the Tio that I saw in training in sparring shows up on fight night, George Kambosos is done.
Man, I want to see.
You got to kind of wonder like what ring rust and him being out the ring. How much of a factor
all that
is that going to play? So we'll see, man.
Yeah. What's going on with Haney and Ryan Garcia? Is that fight ever going to happen? Or what? I like to see the guy that's going to fight this weekend. I like him a lot. Ray, whatever his name is, they call him the Thunder, the Lightning. He's called out Garcia Haney. He called out Rolly.
Raul Valenzuela.
Yeah, I like Raul Valenzuela. Rolly weighs 177 pounds. He weighed himself on the IG. What's going on with Rolly? Did he retire? He's coming back. What's he doing? I would like him fight Ryo. I think Ryo would be a good match for him.
Yeah. Let me see. Muller says, I don't mean lazy. I respect boxing and hard work. I met after Loma fight. I get some of it is business thing, but I think mainly American boxers are affected by the business side. I think as a whole. Hey, you clear that up, by the way.
Yeah, as a whole, I think all boxers are affected because of the business side and the politics between the fighters. Between the promoters holding a lot of fights. How many fights do we as fans want to see so bad and we can't get it because fucking promoters want to sit there
and they wonder why
and play tic-tac-toe. And then we brought that. Didn't we say about that? That if the promoters we didn't have a discussion about this, BT. You say the promoters would just put the fights the fans want to see, everything will sell out, and everything will be better. If they put the elites with the elites, there wouldn't be so much politics. Get the shit done.
You see, if Spence and Crawford were in the UK, the fans would have made a big fuss if they delayed the fight this long. They would boycott their fights. Well, I can't even say.
Are you serious? Or they wouldn't make no money?
I can't even say that they're delaying the fight. That fight ain't happening.
No, but what he's saying is in the UK, the fans will literally like boycott. That means they won't make no. They won't.
Well, if you want to test that theory out, go make Crawford versus Brook and see how it does. Because that's pretty much the UK.
Yeah.
Crawford versus Spence.
But I'm not gonna go with that theory because when Joshua fights, Joshua fucking fills up everything.
It's Joshua though.
Yeah,
it's Joshua.
Yeah.
And Joshua, it's different.
It's a different level.
BT, if Tio and Josh Taylor were on their day, who wins?
Oh shit.
Why ask me these questions, man?
Hey, you just want to get your opinion. You're not gonna answer it.
Hey, man. Hey,
Just when the time comes, we'll have a video for that. Right now, he's just chilling.
You guys know. You guys know. Hold on. You guys know what I say about Josh Taylor. I say it like this all the time. From 140 to 147. If your last name's not Crawford, I'm not picking you against Josh Taylor.
Yeah. So you're picking him over Crawford. You're picking Crawford over Taylor.
I got Crawford slightly over Taylor.
Oh wow. Okay.
But if your last name ain't Crawford, I'm picking Josh Taylor. So
wow. There you go with your answer.
I'm gonna stick with that. Anthony says, I'm not as excited for this fight as I was if I want to be because they waited too long to have this Crawford and Porter fight because of stupid BS politics and promoters. Well, look, I'm happy about it. You're right. You are right to a point, though, because truthfully, if you want to be honest, listen, my voice started to raise again, so you know I'm going to get fired up. Yeah. Listen, truthfully, they could have had this shit when Porter was champion. Yeah. But see, this is the part that nobody wants to talk about. When Porter was champion, I never heard his ass say Crawford's name once.
Not once.
Ever. I hear all these stories about, we were friends in the amateurs.
But never call him up.
But now all of a sudden he don't got a belt. He don't got that negotiating power. Now it happened. But this fight could have happened in fucking 2017, 2018. When Porter was WBC champion.
But I agree 100% with what he's saying. When a fight and the fans want to see this right away, money sells seats. You can't sleep on that.
This could have been a unification fight.
Let's go back. I know we were just talking about it. The CANT and Brook fight. That would have happened when they were in their prime or whenever that fight would have happened. They would have sold seats. But because it's taking so long, even let's go right now up to date. Right now with the Wilder trilogy with Gypsy King. They're selling tickets, but I don't think they're doing as good as they're doing because it's been so dragged out so fucking long that the fans are getting tired. And what was they?
I don't even care about
the demand and supply. Whatever it's called.
How many times can we see the same fight over and over again? Well, we know who's the better fighter. You know Fury's better.
No, I'm not saying like that.
But then at the same time, like there's not even anything new to talk about. Like Fury's talking about his next couple fights. He's overlooking Wilder. Wilder's talking about how he cheated and how he's gonna get his revenge and how he was a victim of cheating and racism and the establishment. Like there's so many times you can hear this bullshit. Like, at some point we just want to see these two fighters hop their asses in the ring and fight.
Well, I gotta give credit to Wilder. Wilder says all this bullshit. I just want to get the fight done. I don't care about this. And I don't think the King is selling all them seats like he says he's gonna sell. But you know what? At the end of the day, it's been washed up so long. It's like when we go back to Lomachenko till Nobody wants to see that fight, right?
I'm kind of hoping it doesn't sell that well, so that whoever wins the fight, whether it's Wilder or Fury, they can just go jump straight into a Joshua fight. Yeah, straight into it. Like no wasting the time. Right. Anthony Mazzano, shout out to him. He says, stylistically, I feel that this fight is going to be boring because both guys are defense first fighters. I understand Crawford has a little bit more power, but he is more of a defense first fighter. I think it might be a bit of a slow start, but the middle rounds, there's no way it's gonna be a boring fight once we get to like the 6th, 7th, the 8th round. I don't feel that way.
The only thing I say is it could be the way how he says it, but the way if you push Crawford to the limits, he's gonna change the boxing to fighting. Yeah. And he's gonna bring the dog out of him. So I mean, you could, like you said, the first couple rounds is a fill out round, and then we'll go from there. I mean, I don't think it's going to be a boring fight because Shawn Porter's like a fly. That motherfucker's always calling. You ever see a fly that you can't fucking hit? It's just get irritating and you finally slap it? Yeah. That's what's going to happen in that fight. So
Alfred, shout out to my man Alfred. He says, yo, BT, did you see that Teddy Atlas had Valdez winning that fight? Shake my fucking head. He's lost it. Yeah, man.
He did? Teddy Atlas?
A lot of people who have Valdez winning. Like I'm gonna tell you this, man. Respect everybody. I respect everybody out there, but I gotta keep it a buck. I gotta keep it a buck. If you had Valdez winning that fight,
I hate the four.
I'm done. I've lost respect.
But listen,
I've lost respect.
Speaking about that, Cancelo's team went to the WBC, and it's actually
nothing's gonna happen
to try to get the fight back. The judge even came out and said he fucked up on the scoring, and he shouldn't have been there anyways. So, I mean, I don't think it's going to happen because the world boxing corruption, they're not going to go along with it. They're going to go with the I ain't going to use the name, the narrative. I'll leave it at that. I'm not going to put it out there.
So, shout out to my boy Samir. He says, BT, you know a lot of fans say that the fight took too long to make and they're not feeling it. But when that fight week comes, they start feeling different.
I mean, like what BT says, though, if they have, like, I would like to see, I like the heavyweight top rank guy, Gerald Big Baby Henderson. I like to see him. If BT's right what he says, that top rank always puts a good undercard, then I'm so
not always, but they have a higher percentage.
Right,
than,
but
like,
what I'm
the other
saying, but
companies.
if they do that and it calls more to attention to the fight, then everybody's gonna be up for that to see that fight anyways because they want to see other good fighters in the undercard.
Yeah, man. So
yeah, so
make it that what you will, man. But look, guys, look. I'm not trying to make this a long, drawn-out live today because we're actually going to be live later on again tonight for the Triller card. The Pablo Cesar Cano and Diego, Diego, whatever his name is.
No disrespect, you just can't pronounce it.
Oh, man. Shakur. This is the last question we're going to answer. And it's a question of one question. Shakur says, Pops, did you fix your car yet? That's what I want to know.
Hey, the car, I took the radiator off. I took the fans off.
When are you fixing the car again?
I'm getting it done today, actually. I'm gonna start
I'm gonna do a video.
I gotta get done.
We're gonna do a video.
He knows. Let's be out all day.
Pops fixing the car.
Yeah.
We're gonna do that video.
Yeah, man. What it is, I have a fucking piece of it's just a bitch. I took the radiator and everything out to find out what the sensor is. Underneath the radiator, there's nothing there, so I gotta put it all back together and stuff and get that thing running again. So no, I haven't. But I've been trying to get it done. But again, I'm not supposed to be in the heat. I got all kinds of shit that they put up conditions on me. But anyways, no excuse. I always say I'm going to get it done before you're live. I got to get it done.
Yeah, so we'll see. But I mean,
God bless,
I know, listen.
Thank you guys for being here.
For you guys that are here, we'll be live later on tonight from the Triller card. I know it's not a big card, but we'll be live for its boxing. And you just never know what's about. You never know what you might see. So, be back live for that. I think, I don't know what time it's at.
Did you, real quick, I don't even want to get off the thing. Hey, how about that UFC guy that wants to fight Canelo now all of a sudden for $30 million?
P4.
Yeah, what kind of bullshit is that? He didn't want to talk about.
He wants some money.
Yeah.
Yeah. We'll be live tonight for the Triller card. We'll be live Monday for the Triller card. We'll be live Thursday for the Sergey Boachuk fight on UFC Fight Pass. We'll be live Saturday for Rob Vallis fight on PBC, and we'll be live Sunday for the Pops Cooking Special / PBC card. So a busy week here on True School Sports. Alfred wants to know who's on that card. So the main event is Pablo Cesar Cano against I forgot the guy. Diego that's what Z. Diego something. That's the main event. On the other card you got Tommy Carpensi fighting Uniesi Gonzalez. You have
Thursday?
Today. Michael Dutchover is fighting. A couple of prospects. Nothing too crazy, but we'll definitely go ahead and watch it. Hyro said it's 7 p.m. Pacific, so I think it's. I have a question. I'm actually Dominican and Cuban. Why does it seem like those two countries don't develop a lot of young fighters in terms of boxing, but they are more successful with MMA fighters? I have absolutely no clue. I would say maybe because of there's more MMA gyms. I don't know.
That's a good question, but I mean, I know some MMA trainers here that are constantly traveling all over the place, and they do recruit a lot of Dominicans here in the 305 and 954. I've gone to one of the guys that. Bernard knows a good trainer. What's the Puerto Rican guy that did that?
Chio Perez?
Yeah. The majority of his whole stalemate is all Dominicans that go back and forth. Dominican come back. So there is some fighters here. Mundo Boxing's another one. So there is some people that go out there. I just think Brazil's big on UFC. I don't know why, but that's probably
jiu-jitsu, man.
Jiu-jitsu and all that stuff. And maybe the culture there is more into that than they are boxing.
Yeah, they are.
You know?
Oh, yeah. Alfred says, Chair BT, we have some great fights coming up. Yes, we do. We do. And who knows? Hopefully the card tonight is good. Hopefully the card, because a lot of times it's crazy. These small cards that you don't really get excited for, these actually want to be some of the best cards sometimes. So we'll see how we'll test that theory out this week because we got 4 cards this week. So 4 live fight reactions in 1 week. It was supposed to be a slow week.
Yeah, but you know what?
I'm realizing it's not going to be a slow week. So,
and that we could break down the box. Thank you all for being here. Be here again. Stay tuned.
Tonight.
Hit that like button
tonight.
And God bless all y'all. And thank you for all your comments. We love you all the time.
Like I say in every single one of these videos, you can love me or you can hate me. But I'm just a kid from Dang. So until next time, take care, guys.